me why this is the last Empire Hideous album, and I tell them this: no musicians, no touring, no band. For anyone who knows my career as a musician, they know that in 20 years of doing Empire Hideous and Spy Society, that I have had nothing but bad luck with musicians. So that's my decision. I can't deal with the constant training of a new musician like every 6 months. I just can't take it anymore. So as I got closer to the end of my career, between 2004 and about 2007, I was working with other musicians, you know, people who were on a higher level, that I considered a higher level than myself as a musician. And I was thinking, all right, here I can at least get in with these people, work with them as a lead singer, sing their songs and be a part of their band. But at the same time, then these people who I would be working with would, like, you know, call me up in about 6 months and say, hey, I got a job playing in bass guitar for Ace Frehley's band. Or, yeah, I just got paid doing Ozzy Osbourne's record, so I don't have to pay my mortgage for 5 years. See you later. I'm not dealing with that anymore. So I hooked up with Johnny Nickel. Johnny Nickel played in Empire Hideous back in, I'm going to say 2002, I think it was. Things didn't work out. He left, and then I got back in touch with him around 2005, 6. Him and I discussed working on recording the last Empire Hideous record, which is The Time Has Come. And Johnny and I have been working together ever since. And I'll tell you the truth, screw everybody else. Because they're all idiots, really. Members are concerned. Johnny officially played, I think it was 2 gigs with us. The first gig we played was at a place called Acme Underground in New York City, which was a great little turnout. It was kind of like a test. Worked out fine. And then the next major show we did after that was a thing called the Dracula's Ball down in Philadelphia, which we drew in about 800 people for that gig. That was a very big gig for him, his first big show. So I still officially consider him a member, a former member, and now he is the last member that will be in Empire Hideous, because he respects me, I respect him, and to me that's what it's all about being in a band. Not to boast, but when someone's going to work with me, I've got a history. I've got 20 years behind me under my belt. I don't need some fucking asshole coming in going, well, you know, I want to change things around to this song. No, I recorded this back in 1995. Do it my way, you know, and that's what Johnny does. Johnny understands I want it done a certain way. Whereas a lot of musicians, they come in and they think just because I'm not signed to a major label that they can tell me anything they want. And I'm, you know, even though I may not be paying them, I can't do that. People know what I've done over 20 years. They know what I've done. They know what they want to hear. And, you know, it's all about respect for me. He respects me. I respect him. That's all that matters to me. We could create a disco album for all I care, and it would still be good because I know Johnny would work with me, not against me. First, let me say this. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wake up and yearn to be on that stage again. I crave it very much, very badly, I should say. And it's sad because I really want to do it. But I can't tolerate these fucking morons. I swear to God, I can't stand musicians. They're such asinine little babies, whining and crying and moaning all the time, and I can't deal with that. So, to answer the first part of your question, I don't think there will ever be a reunion. By any chance, will there ever be a reunion? And I'll tell you why. Back in 2008, it was 20 years in 2008. I wanted to contact musicians, the guys who were in the band at 10 years ago. Unfortunately, they were all involved in their own thing, and I felt kind of weird trying to pull them back, so I didn't. And I kind of felt bad because I didn't have something to present to the fans. A 20-year anniversary would have been great. I would have loved to have done that, but I just couldn't do it. Just didn't have the resources. So now, to answer the other part of your question, would I consider doing it down the road? I don't know. I would like to. I'd like to do it tomorrow if I could. I could tell you this, Johnny and I are currently working on the next 3 projects that I plan on releasing on CD. One of which is we're currently working on a remix album right now, which will include pretty much all unreleased material and some of the new album's remixes. After that, in the new year, we're going to be working on the finally, the release of Spy Society 99, the full-length album, which never got released formally. So we're going to put that out in a nice digipack CD. And we also have another project that we've produced together, which was a compilation album of all the bands that were featured on a film that I worked on called Living the American Nightmare. There were bands that donated their music to the film. We produced a compilation album. Technically, the album's done. We just have other projects we're putting together right now. But finally, to answer that question, I don't think there'll ever be a reunion. I may consider to put out projects on CDs, but I just don't think I'll be doing anything else unless somebody comes to me and says, "Here, we're doing this," then I would consider it. But I can't do it myself anymore. I went bankrupt, 5 years ago because I spent, $20,000, $30,000 on Empire Hideous in 10 years. I don't have that kind of money anymore. Everybody's going bankrupt, losing, their jobs, their businesses. What am I going to do, put a band together and just keep putting out money? I've analyzed my personality and my characteristics, and I think, and this was about 10 years ago, I started analyzing myself. As you get older, you'll see. When you get older, you'll do stuff like that. And I realized that I always had a strong will, and that's how I got from here to here, because I did everything myself. By doing everything myself, I learned something valuable. If you want something done right, you do it yourself, A. And B, when you do it, you're a son of a bitch about it, and you've got to be, you just can't be, a nice guy when it comes down to it. You have to be hard. You have to go for it. I hate to use those corny words, but the fact is, you've got to be tough. And it's sad when I say this, but having that attitude around here it ticks off a lot of people, especially in New Jersey. Everybody seems to think that when you have that attitude, which is a go-get-'em attitude, they think you're an asshole. So my response to those people is simply, well, if I'm an asshole, then you must be a bigger asshole, because I don't see you with a record. I don't see you touring. I don't see you doing shows. But they all have a criticism on me. Who does he think he is? And why does he do this? And it's just, I don't know. Some people have said to me over the years that it's jealousy. I don't know what it is. All I know is that people have got issues. And I guess by that, so do I. I do my best in trying to get things done my way and what I want done. All my life, I had to, from my youth into my teen years, I always had to watch people or listen to people say to me, yeah, we're going to do this, or yeah, we're going to do that. And nobody ever came through for me. I was tired of all the talk. So I did. I stepped up and I started doing. When you try to get things done on your own and you have a specific attitude and a frame of mind, other people just pick at you and they nitpick and they got criticism for you, and it blows me away because all these people, not all of them I should say, but a lot of them, at least 99% of them, I have never been in a band, and all they do is criticize me and badmouth me, and I got more enemies in this state, just in this state, than you could well imagine. And that's why I have no friends anymore. Because, you know, people, they think I'm an asshole, you know, but yet I worked my tail off for 20 years. What are they doing? I don't know. Now, you mentioned something about being intimidating. That's, my intimidation tends to come from women. I haven't had a date. See, I can't even remember when I had a date. In probably 4 years. I tend to scare women away, mainly because I don't take bullshit. I don't take nonsense. And when you're in the music industry, any guy who's in a band will tell you. You go to a club or a concert hall or whatever it is that you're playing, and you're going to meet your fans. Now, if you're a guy and you attract women to your show, a lot of times you get women who, you know, they're just there for one thing, you know, and by that attitude, I become very critical. That's, you know, look, I had my share, you know, in the past, but as I got older, I didn't want to constantly keep meeting somebody who was just a loose tramp. So I became very intimidating, and girls would come up to me and they'd be like, well, I know, you know, Slipknot, or I know the guys from whatever band. And I would just sit there and be like, what are you trying to impress me? I don't really care. And then they would then think that I'm the asshole, which of course I had the attitude. And that's where I became intimidating, by telling people, look, you know, go away. You're really not you're not inspiring me, go away. And that's how I get the intimidating term, mostly from women. Facebook. Facebook seems to be fine for people, not me. I noticed that, or from what I understand, Facebook can put you in touch with pretty much anybody that you've known from the past. And believe me, I have got no desire to be in touch with anybody from my past. What I have noticed about Facebook is that a lot of people have got too much fucking time on their hands. And all they do is, again, criticize. So let's see, the Facebook thing, I got no need for it. I really don't care. MySpace, I had two MySpace accounts, gone. The director I was working with on the film, he put up a Myke Hideous Facebook fan page. Again, everybody's got nothing to do but criticize me and bitch. Fuck them, man. I'm so sick of that. These people who are so brave in front of their computer screens. Fuck them. Anything else about Facebook? She's just a crazy bitch that never listened. Right after 9/11 happened, shortly after, Mike V had contacted me. And at that point in time, I was only doing Spy Society. Mike V called me up and said if there was ever a time for Empire Hideous to get back together, now would be that time. And it was because Empire Hideous was always an apocalyptic band. Everything I wrote about was about the apocalypse and how eventually there was going to be something that went down here in America, some type of war, whether it was World War III or something. So again, I never predicted 9/11. But without a doubt, I always had an idea that something was going to happen. If you have ever seen a movie that I did with a filmmaker by the name of Mark Steiner called to build an empire, there at the end of one of the videos that we do, which was called Parasite's Bible, there is a quotation from Nostradamus, and it's about how someday there's going to be a war in America. And Mark and I would talk about that constantly. We would always discuss how there was going, you know, the connection between the new city and the what was it? I forget the term that he used for the Twin Towers. The two brothers, or the two. I don't remember, but there was all these similarities and comparisons to all the events of 9/11. And I mean, I read books about it, and we, you know, Mark and I would talk about it all the time. And then eventually it happened. I mean, if you listen to some of the Empire Hideous records from '98, Victim Destroys Assailant, Amazing Murder Machine, Power the Empire, Parasite's Bible, Kissing Your Poison, what else? You Follow. All these songs are related to the apocalypse. And that's what I wrote about. So Myke V convinced me that after 9/11 that I should get Empire Hideous back together. And that's exactly what I did. And I used the members from Spy Society and a new drummer, and a new second guitarist in the band to create the new version of Empire Hideous. And if it wasn't for Myke V, Say Your Prayers would never have been released. Myke V helped me get Say Your Prayers out. My DJing history is, it was good for a few years. In fact, it was good for about 6 years. And then all of a sudden it took this major plunge straight down. Here's what happened. I was DJing from about 2000 to about, 2005 or 6, actually. I used to DJ at a club in Newark called QXT's, which was an underground, alternative, gothic club, whatever. I DJ'd there for 5.5 years. I DJ'd at a place called Connections, which is no longer available, no longer around. It went out of business, and a few others here and there. Make a long story short, what happened was I got a gig DJing at the Limelight in New York City, and it was a great thing for me. So what I did is I actually quit my other DJing gig and did the Limelight as much as I could. And unfortunately, after 6 months, we went bankrupt, so to speak. And at that point, I tried, and here's the sad part, I tried practically everyone that I knew in the club scene. Hey, please get me a job. Please, I need a gig. I need a DJing gig. Can you get me something at least once a month? Nobody did anything for me. And before I knew it, nobody was calling. And, to ask me to gig. So I just gave that up too. I just couldn't get a gig. That's it. So now I went to a club about 3 months ago in June, and I got to tell you, I had an absolutely horrible time. The music sucks. What people consider goth or gothic rock is not the same definition as what I have for the definition of gothic rock and what the music that I like to listen to in a club. I don't know, maybe I'm getting old and I'm out of touch, but when I hear the music that is considered to be gothic rock in a club, it just doesn't inspire me. And I don't mean to sound egotistical, but after I left DJing, there was nobody that I heard that was doing what I was doing. So, I'm no longer a DJ. ago, more like a year and a half ago, right before Peter Steele from Type O Negative died. Peter was going to produce the record, the album that I put out called The Time Has Come. And basically all that means is that he was going to do the mastering work in the studio and make it all sound groovy. And in the process, when we were doing pre-production, Peter and I were talking about covers, and Johnny and I had previously discussed doing the cover of Moving in Stereo by the Cars. Then I mentioned it to Peter Steele. He loved the record, and to tell you the truth, that's why we did it, because Peter liked it, I liked it, so we recorded it. And it's if you go on the Empire Hideous website, you will find it as a free download.